What's up, guys? It's Billiam Jones IV, and today you have clicked on probably one of the most powerful videos you'll ever click on if you're in business. No matter if you own that business, you're in sales, anybody who works in a business will benefit exponentially from this video, whether that you are the actual owner or you're somebody looking to make more money or move up in a company. You've got to watch every part of this video because every single section of this video is something you're not going to hear anywhere else. There's nobody else out there that really talks about the end-to-end experience with the customer and how to retain them. So don't skip over any of these sections. Every single one of them builds upon the other one, and the ones that you're going to get in the last, which are the most important, you've got to have the first few before you can go through there and check those out. So everything in this video will separate your business from any other business and will guarantee that if you put these principles and ideas out there, you will beat everybody in business and you will stay in business for a long time because you will be retaining customers, and retaining customers spend more money with your business, are more loyal to your business, give you more referrals, lower your advertising, your acquisition costs, everything like that. So stay with me in this video. I know it's going to be a longer one, but remember, this is more of a course format for people who are really serious about beating everybody else, beating their competition in business, and being the top dog in whatever it is to go. This channel is completely based over customer experience. And now I'm going to give you 7 sections over here that are really going to break down this customer experience and give you a broad overview over the principles that I've learned in our business. We've been in business for over 52 years. We grew from a tiny 500 square foot log cabin that my grandmother sold vacuum cleaners and did interior design to one of the largest independently owned luxury retailers in the nation. And we did this by taking these principles and learning that 1% to 2% difference and really defining it and making it part of our daily routines, not just in business, but in life. And these are the 7 things that I think will really help you to define and make it to where you can do the same exact things. Think about the top player in your favorite sport. It could be the top player or the top team. And think about how much money that top player makes. Now think about the number 10 in that sport also. There is an exponential difference between the top player and the number 10 player in any single sport in the amount that they get paid. Think about their actual performance. Is there that big of a difference between the top in that industry or the top in that sport and the number 10? There's not. There's like a 1% to 2% difference in the number 1 and number 10 in any professional sport, but there's almost a 10 times average difference in the amount of money that they earn, in the contracts they get, the advertising, the wins, the rings, anything like that. There's a massive discrepancy in the actual output of performance between the top and the number 10. It's only a 1% to 2% difference in their actual stat. That is the same exact principle in business and sales and any type of performance that human beings do. You look at businesses in an industry, almost all of them from a 30,000 foot view do business the exact same way. It's very, very small differences that make very large discrepancies between businesses, between sales staff, between employers, between people competing for jobs. And that's what this video is really going to delve into and help you identify what are those 1% to 2% differences that you yourself, your business, whatever it is, can really identify and act on to better service customers over a longer period of time. You do not have to own a business. You do not have to be in sales. This can be for any single facet in business and life or anything like that, is really defining what these 7 things are and working upon them. Great if you own a business, it'll make a massive impact, but if you're in sales and you want to make more money, or if you're trying to grow up in a company, anything, these 7 things will help you change your business career. All right, this first section is image out. This is kind of what you're putting out into the world. Think about this, and I want to go through a couple companies. When you hear Ace Hardware, what do you think? I always hear Ace is the helpful place. State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. So think about how many of these businesses that are on this, that are so large, that have grown to such massive revenue numbers. What are they doing? What are every single one of them doing? They're identifying that 1% to 2% difference they want to put out there, and they're really focusing on it, and they're putting that image out into the world. Think about a hardware store. A hardware store has like 15,000 SKUs. I mean, unless you grow up in a hardware store or like doing things out there where you're working with your hands, that you have some type of background in craftsmanship or something, imagine walking into a hardware store with 15,000 SKUs in a home project. The chances of you really going in and finding the right product or having a good idea of what you actually need without, getting on YouTube or something are super slim. That's a nightmare. That's where ACE is really going to go in and focus and say, hey, this is where we can really add value to our customers, and this is a reason that they're going to continually come back, is because we're going to take this confusing transaction with people who need help not only picking items out, but insights into actually how to do them, and want people who have some type of experience in these things around them. They want that. They're focusing in on that experience of trying to make that confusing shopping experience easier. State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. That's the image they're putting out. Think about insurance. Insurance is like the most black and white thing there ever is. It's like 10,000 page contracts, and they're literally trying to do every single thing they can to write in or out all the provisions, all the exclusions, everything else. And even though insurance is super complicated and it's contracts and it's numbers and it's all this stuff, hey, I'm somebody that you can trust. You can trust me to sign this contract and have your back. That's a massive difference in competitive advantage in insurance. And so think about a lot of these businesses that have been so successful. They sell the same product as others. I mean, Ace sells the same product as Lowe's. State Farm sells the same product as Geico. Why does Geico advertise 15% in 15 minutes and State Farm advertise like a good neighbor, State Farm is there? Is because really, even though they're almost the exact same business, there's massive discrepancies in the customer base within that industry. And what they're really trying to do is try and find something that they can build an audience and a customer base around. It's the exact same thing as me trying to do this YouTube channel. I'm trying to niche down and do customer experience and really dial down customer experience and put knowledge out there. That's the audience that I want to build. Think about that for your business. What audience are you really trying to go after? So that first section, image out. That's really what they're portraying, what that business is portraying. The next is, number 2, is what are the customer's expectations of that portrayal? So what do you expect from Ace Hardware? You expect to go in and get helped. But let's define that further. If you've never been in an Ace Hardware, and I've been in like 1 or 2, what would you expect to go in there? I would expect, if I really thought about it, that I'm going to walk through that front door and there's going to be somebody up near the front that's going to greet me and ask me, kind of what I need. Or that I'm going to be walking around anytime I get close to, an employee or somebody there, they're going to offer me help and they're going to ask me what's going on. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, I can imagine talking to them about tools, dad talk and all kinds of stuff like that. That's really the expectation they're putting out there. What about State Farm? I would really imagine that, like, if I'm walking up to a State Farm agency and right before I get to the front door, that agent or somebody in there is going to open the door for me. They're going to shake my hand. They're going to greet me like a neighbor. And those are the things that those brand images and that advertising really puts out there. That's what it puts out into my head. I don't know what it puts into your head, but those are some of the things that I would expect if I was going to that business. Think about that for a second. If you were to walk into an Ace Hardware or State Farm agency or something like that, and you'd never been in before, what are some of the things that you would expect? What would you expect from different advertising? I mean, it's the same thing as Geico. I'm not expecting to get the best customer service, but I'm expecting to save 15% in 15 minutes. So I'm expecting to save money quickly. I'm not expecting customer service. And that's a really big key point in delving down into this 1% to 2% difference is what are we really expecting? And what is it that our customers are actually wanting from us? What are we putting out there? What expectations do we have to meet in business for this customer to match our brand experience with our actual customer experience? Now that you think about like these larger companies with their image out and having an idea of customer expectation, what is it that you do? What is it that you advertise at your business? If you're an employee there, if you're in sales or anything, what is it that you want your customers to think about you? What is it that at the end of the day that you think these things define me, that I do better than other people in the industry? And there's going to be a couple different things. So what is it that your business advertises that is a reason that people could come in? What is the 1 to 2% difference that separates you from everybody else? And write this down, because in the next section after this, we're going to kind of audit this. And that is, what do you think your customers think about you? What is the image out that you're trying to put out there? And think about it this way. If I were to give you a 30-second spot in a Super Bowl ad on national TV, what are the things that you would fill that 30 seconds out of why people should come and do business with you? That's what you really got to think about right now. As of right now, take out a piece of paper and write down the things that make your business that 1 to 2% different than every other person in that industry, every other salesperson on the sales team. It could be your inventory. You have massive inventory. It could be you have the best, trained sales staff. It could be the best service. It could be the fastest service. If you're online, it could be a user-friendly website, the best chat functions, the best customer service, the best refund policy, exchange policy. It could be anything out there, but write it down, put it in the front of your mind, and think about what are those things that actually make you different. And I'm going to give you a really good idea about if what you picked is actually the 1 to 2% difference, or if it's actually hurting you. So write that down real quick in front of mine, and let's go to the next section. In this next section, we're going over how consistent is your experience. So if you did pause it and write this down, I want you to, what you've got in front of you, look at it and think about this. How consistently do these things happen for customers? Do they happen 10% of the time, 20% of the time, 50% of the time, 60% of the time? And what is it that you've actually written down that separates your business that 1 to 2% different than any other business in your industry? And I want to give you an example of this. A lot of small businesses or websites advertise like the owner of that company. So let's just say this. Let's say if you're advertising images of the owner of the company or somebody up there, that customer has an expectation of that advertisement, of that brand image out, that more than likely, hey, I'm going to get to go meet this person, or I'm going to, in some way have some type of interaction or learn about that person. That person's important enough in this customer experience to be featured in their advertisement. So if one of the things on your piece of paper was, we have great owners, we're family owned or something like that, how often and how consistently does your customer experience that family member or that family-run business or anybody up at the top? And I'm just going to go ahead and give you a hint. If any of the things that you've written down happen less than 50% of the time for your average customer, those things are hurting you. They are not helping you, and they're things that you should take out of your brand image and take out of your customer experience model. And the reason is this: imagine advertising at State Farm like a good neighbor, you're there, and then those people not treating you that way. Okay, it's the same exact thing as that when you advertise the owner of the company, or you advertise, some type of experience, and it doesn't happen the majority of the time, the customer leaves there going, man, that was not what I was expecting at all. Like if you advertise a family-owned customer service-based business and people go there and all you're trying to do is sell them, low price as fast as you can and really sell them, that is so completely different from the experience that they're actually coming in there expecting, that it's considerably hurting you. It's not helping you. How consistent are you with those things that you wrote down on that list? And like I said, if it doesn't happen the majority of the time, it's hurting you, and you need to reevaluate that and really figure out, what am I doing? What can I do better? Or are there other things that I can add on here? If you're advertising great customer service, is your customer service really great? Do you have things put in place that are consistent and happen the majority of the time for a customer? Do you have a plan on how these things are rolling out? I mean, if you really advertise great product, okay, is that product out there for people to experience? Can they interact with it? Is that product there a lot? If you advertise inventory, do you have the massive amount of inventory to actually support what you're putting out there? And the truthfulness and the understanding of your business, and really understanding that 1 to 2% difference, and then making sure that that is consistent enough for you to actually build a business upon. The majority of businesses out there, what they think their 1 to 2% difference is not really their 1 to 2% difference. they do, and even if they do those 1 to 2% things, it happens very, very rarely. And I'll go back to that example of an owner. Say you really advertise that owner experience on getting out there. Can that owner, out of 100 transactions, how often can that person get in there? If it's 10 times, is that advertisement and that expectation for that customer really helping you? No, it's not. Understand this and make sure whatever it is you pick can be done consistently. And if it can't, or it's not being done now, can you do it consistently in the future? And building off that consistency is the 5th part of this section, and that's how well does everyone around you understand this? And I'm going to go back into this owner, experience with customer, because this is something that we took part in for a very long time. And how well does everybody in the staff understand that experience, how important that is to the customer? That, hey, just by this owner coming in and saying, hey, or me telling a story about the owner, somehow relating this experience of this business to that owner is going to make a massive difference to this customer. And it's something that we're spending a lot of money putting out there, portraying it. People are getting referrals on this. A lot of people build buzz around this experience happening. I need to make this happen every single time. And take the State Farm agency again. Like I said, having somebody open the door and greet somebody there, does everyone on your staff and everybody around you realize that these small things like this make such a big difference and are things that you can actually build a brand upon? And that every single time they do happen and we match customer expectations, our chances go up of retaining that customer within our business. Are these things that are so important that you train and focus on? How do you train and focus on these? Just like if it was Ace Hardware. If I ran an Ace Hardware, I would make sure that I had somebody by that front door every single time. I would have a certain way that they would greet them, and I would have a certain way that they would introduce them and show them around the store. Do you have a certain plan out that really lays it out for people? And the big thing on this too is that you have to come up with a system instead of just, telling people what to do. Because even you, as I'm imagining, if you're watching this video, you're probably like one of the top salespeople, you own a business, you want to start a business, or you're just really, really into customer experience. So your knowledge is probably way above the average person. So a lot of these people down here don't even realize that there is this 1 to 2% difference that we can focus on and we can beat everybody with. So how can you lay out this system and really break it down to where it can consistently happen and you can consistently train people? Because in business or anything like that, it's not so important that one person does it. It's important that everybody does it somewhat consistently, because that's how you really retain customers and build businesses over the long haul and scale businesses, is being able to take new people in, teach them your ways, teach them your systems, and then make it to where it can happen and that customer experience can be somewhat consistent. And really understanding on that 1 to 2% difference, how can I make this go into not just being greeted at Ace Hardware at the front door, but also when we answer the phones, when we show our inventory, when we present our first piece of inventory? How can I put this 1 to 2% difference in every single facet of our business? Because that's really how you can separate yourself from everybody else in business, when you really define these and you build them out throughout the entire business. We've gone through all these sections on identifying, understanding, auditing, training, all this. Here is the big key kicker right here. This is one of the most important things that you can do. And this is the 6th section right here, and probably in my mind the most important. How can you make these things happen or be apparent in a customer's experience in the first 30 seconds? And the reason for that is that first impressions are typically formed within the first 30 seconds. There's like all kinds of studies and all kinds of boring stuff that you can go and listen to, or you can just remember that. I think it's less than that, but about 30 seconds. And within those first 30 seconds, the first 7 seconds are like the physical layout of things. So like they're looking at your website, exactly how it looks when they open it. They're looking at the front of your store. They're looking at the store once they walk in. And the rest of that is really what's said to them and how they're interacting in that. So if you can figure out that 1 to 2% difference that you've got written down on your piece of paper or you're really thinking about, if you can start placing that within those first 30 seconds, That's their first impression of you. So within 30 seconds, most people have gone through, they think about, how you treat your family, your credit score, how great your business is, how much revenue your business does, how great of a salesperson are you, how great of an employee are you. They think of all these things in the first 30 seconds. So if you can focus that first 30 seconds of your customer's experience, whether it's on your website or you're in store, just really everywhere on there, and focus to where this 1% to 2% difference is within that, that's how you separate it. And this first impression isn't just walking to the front door. The first impression is the first time they see your advertisement, the first time they see your building, the first time they see your website, the first time they walk through there, the first time they call customer service, the first time you ever show them a product or they see a price. These first impressions, there's probably 5 to 10 of them that are really serious that you've got to kind of delve into and define and say, hey, these are the times that these things really have to be in there. Number 7 is the icing on the cake that's going to make it to where customers continually do business with you, refer everybody, and give great Google reviews. And that's understanding the impression that they leave with. And all that really is keeping in mind, hey, when this customer leaves my website, when they leave my business, when they leave my company, what are the thoughts they're going to be leaving thinking about? And this is something that's so important to keep front of mind during a presentation where somebody's in your business, or during the time somebody's navigating on your website, is keeping that front of mind and saying, hey, I want to do things in this experience that after this person leaves this business, they think about my business as X. They think about me and they really leave thinking, man, what they portrayed out there was real. Their customer service was great. Their prices were great. Their sales staff was great. That salesperson was fantastic. So you see what we're doing here is we're loading this image portrayal and we're throwing it out into the world. And then what's happening is that people are going, man, I like that. I like those things. I'm going to go and experience that. And then we're making sure their experience is at least on par with what we're portraying out there the majority of the time. And then after that, we're having them leave and we're trying to validate it to them that, hey, what you had happen today to you at this business, on this website or anything, is the way things happen almost every single time you get here. This experience that you've had is consistent, and you can trust us as a business that almost every single time that you come back into this business, it's going to happen this way. This is what we focus on. What'll end up happening is if you do that, is that, like, say you're going to Ace Hardware and somebody has to go into a Lowe's. They're gonna go, I don't ever want to shop here again because the things that I love about this experience are not here. Same with State Farm. I'm never going to go to Geico or some other insurance agency because the things that I love and value about this experience and what I've come to be conditioned to in this experience are not here. That's how you build customers for a lifetime instead of just a one transaction thing. And that's really the difference that'll separate businesses. And that's one of the things that'll separate businesses from 2 or 3 years in business to 2 or 3 generations to 200 or 300 years, is how well you can retain those customers and how loyal they are to you. That's what this entire YouTube channel is about customer experience and how important that is actually to businesses, because it's something that's completely overlooked. You can go through YouTube and find things, about entrepreneurship, scaling businesses, doing all this management stuff, but you can't really find anything that goes through and defines what it is to a customer, the person who's paying your bills and paying your lights. What is that experience that you really need to give to them, and how can you make it consistent enough? That's why I have this YouTube channel. That's why I started that, and I have online courses that you can go through that do nothing about give you systems about how to identify your customer experience, how to scale it, how to manage it, how to train on it, how to make it happen as consistent as possible. Because these are the things that we've learned over 52 years in business that have allowed us to stay in business for generations and grow into one of the nation's largest independent luxury retailers. Customer experience is also one of the things that's almost impossible to catch up with. As you can see, customer experience has to be thought of on the front end and has to do a lot of really in-depth planning and understanding of your business, of your ownership of you, of just your skills in general on how you give a consistent experience to customers. I like to think about it like this. Like, in no way, shape, or form would I ever try and be dishonest or try and get somebody to be dishonest with the customer. But this is an example I like to use, is that if you were going to a play or go watch a movie, and let's say you're going to a play and you're going to it live, and the actor, just wasn't feeling it that night, or he wasn't very consistent in his performance, would you ever go back, or what would you think about that? Now, that's an extreme example, but that's the same principles that you have to put in business on customer experience of saying, hey, I just went and saw Top Gun with my wife, the new Maverick movie. I mean, what if we saw that live and, Tom Cruise was like, I didn't get much sleep last night, I don't really want to do this. Oh, look, talk to me, Goose. Like, what if he would have just been like that? We would have never gone back and seen that movie. So this is all about how can we identify what our experience is that we're putting out there in the world and making it to when a customer comes in, it's consistent every single time. So this video is a little bit more in depth than all my other videos. So if you came here from any of my other videos, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching this long. Subscribe to this channel. Check out my online website. This is all I do is customer experience. 8 hours, 9 hours of the day, I work within our business, and I come in here about 3 hours early every single morning just to make videos and put this out there. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you level up your customer experience. It will make a massive difference whether you're the business owner, an employee, a sales staff, whatever it is. You yourself have the power to do it consistently and get raving reviews that people will talk about and know you as one of the top professionals in your industry. So thanks for tuning in.